Okay, guys, I'm recording. Assalamu alaikum. Trying out my Zoom here. Okay. Because I found this. Well, what happened? You cannot minimize when recording. Okay. So how do I do this? Can I go here? Okay. So I can close this, right? I wanted to go here, read this comment I got. So what really made me kind of teed off, I got teed off because this guy, Becker Neuman, he posted this comment, but where did he post it? Not under one of my Islamic type videos. He posted it under this video sharing this nice scenery over here, which I could show you guys that after. So he posted this ugly comment there, but it's held automatically. So I'll just read this and then I'm going to delete it. I'm not going to answer this guy's question here. It's very long, actually multiple questions. Do me a favor, read at least 40 hadiths in Bukhari book 67 and come to me. Okay, I don't do things for people. Like, do I work for you or something? And come to me and explain those ahadith, like that which teaches how Sahaba shared one of his 2 wives with his brother. First of all, that didn't even happen. What happened was that Sahabi, he asked his friend, because they were Ansar and his friend was from Mecca, right? So when the migration happened, the second or third migration to, there was like a migration to Abyssinia. And then some people later migrated, right? The rest of the Muslims in the end migrated to Mecca. So to Medina, sorry. So one of the Sahabi asked his friend, who was became what you might call a blood brother, right? So it's like the Prophet paired off people and gave them like a companion in Medina who would help them out when they were settling in. So one of the Sahabi, he told his companion, his brother, that he was paired off with, that he could give him one of his wives in marriage, that he would divorce her and give him. And the other's response was, I'm not in need of that. And he began working and making money, and eventually he was able to get married on his own, right? So the other brother didn't divorce his wife. He actually had, according to what I understand, he kept his 2 wives, basically. So this is wrong because that didn't happen. And see, he's saying the hadith, which teaches how Sahaba shared one of his 2 wives with his brother in faith. First of all, he didn't share his wife. He was going to divorce his wife if the other wanted. Okay, and that didn't happen because the other person said, I'm not in need of that. Okay, and so it says, while he was exposed with his semen on his cloth. Okay, so this guy doesn't know how to use, how to construct a proper sentence. So let's see, I have to plug in my computer. So I wasn't even gonna answer these, but that one, the first one is very easy to debunk, basically. I just did that. So I think he's talking about the Prophet here. He was exposed with his semen on his cloth by the Prophet. Do you know how to speak English? So his name apparently here is Becker Neuman, and it seems like he doesn't know English. So yeah. Semen on his cloth by the Prophet after he married, Sahih Bukhari 5072. So it's I'm going to have to go and research this and come back because I'm not going to. And how many people had castration imaginations and that they were allowed temporary marriage? It's not imagination. They asked a question to the Prophet that, can we get married? It doesn't matter how many, if it was 1 or 2 or 1,000 or however many there were. And what is your point? They asked the Prophet, it wasn't imagination. They asked him if they could get castrated or should they, And the Prophet told them they could have temporary marriage with women. And that's the answer. If you don't like it, who cares? No, I don't care. So Muta, Sahih al-Bukhari 5075. So that's your answer. It wasn't an imagination. That really happened. And then after a Khaybar battle, it was prohibited, right? So it became like a non-thing. It's not done anymore, except some Muslims still do it, but the Sunnis, we don't do that. And he says, and how according to those ahadith, the best of women are riders of camels. Not as far as I know. And how one married a matron, but gets rebuked by the Prophet. Again, another lie. It's just full of straw men left and right and center. It's all straw men. So it doesn't say women of riders are riders of camels are the best. It was talking about the Arab women. There was a specific tribe at the time in Arabia that they were the best mothers, to their children. They were the most, I think it says, the most loving or something like that, right? So it's a specific like character trait, which some women had in Arabia, okay, in the Hijaz or Najd or whatever it is. Okay, so it's not talking about of all women in the world or anything. He's trying to suggest it's like an Arab, religion, that it's racist or something like that. Okay, so the Hadith doesn't say that. You can go search Hadith. Okay. Arab women. I'm not even gonna see if it just pops up. If it doesn't, it's fine. Okay, so Arab women are good mothers. Let's see. Okay, maybe I better just go and check his thing again. Okay, go back to the comments. So it's and the Prophet ﷺ didn't tell the Sahabi to marry a young girl. He said, why didn't you marry her? Okay, so he said he gets rebuked by the Prophet for why didn't he marry a young girl. So did the Sahabi get rebuked? Sahih Bukhari 5080. Okay, so that's not true either. The Prophet ﷺ didn't rebuke him. He actually praised him, saying that may you have intelligent, boys or children, because he was basically, the Prophet telling him, praising him that he's intelligent for his answer to the question. The Prophet asked him, why didn't you marry a young girl instead of a matron? Because the Sahabi himself was never married, apparently. Okay, he was like a young guy. That's from what I understand. I could be maybe reading too much into it, but I think like he was not married, so he wanted to get married. So why did he marry a matron instead of a young girl? And the Prophet said, you could play with her and she could play with you. Meaning, they would both, learn together basically about, intimate matters, right? They would have intimacy together. So he married a matron so that she could take care of his young sisters. And the Prophet didn't rebuke him for that. He actually praised him. Okay, he made dua for him, saying, may you have, intelligent children. So again, nothing wrong with that. So I want to see the 5082. Just to see what was the exact wording of that. Just among the women of Quraysh. They are the kindest women to their children in their childhood, in their childhood. And the more careful women of the property of their husbands. And even if that's true, okay, so the Prophet would know who was the best ones. I mean, it's just, but I'd rather see the translation, like the Arabic or, let's see, can I see? Hadith on wedlock, the original Hadith is written in Arabic and translated in English and Urdu. Right, so that's the problem we have at the time. The best women are the riders of the camels and righteous among the women of Quraysh. From what I can see here, it's saying, and the righteous among the women of Quraysh. So they are the kindest women to their children. And it could be that the Prophet ﷺ was specifically talking only about the Arabs, okay? Not saying that there aren't other women in other countries or other, different race groups, different, ethnicities and so on that don't have. Okay. Oh, there's actually Arabic here. حدثنا أبو اليماني أخبرنا شيبو حدثنا أبو الزناد عن أخبرنا شيبو حدثنا أبو الزناد عن الأراجي عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال خير النساء إن ركبنا أجلة صالح نساء قريش. Okay, so basically the Prophet's Quraysh tribe. أحنته على والد في سراره. Quraysh tribe. أحنته على والد في سراره. The thing is, the Prophet ﷺ, he used to praise different groups of people for different traits, right? Like he said, ﷺ, in one hadith that Iman is from Yemen or something like that, or something else about Sham, people from Sham, or, so, and he praised, the Ansar are like, they were the helpers and then Allah also forgave the people of Becker, right? The people of Becker who had participated. So like the Mujahideen of Becker. So there are many hadiths, and I don't really have a problem with it. I know that haters are going to have a problem with anything that they read, even if they're lying. And this guy obviously has already lied about some stuff, right? So he tells him again to go to his house and find at least an iron thing. Could he say it at once? Well, the Prophet doesn't see the unknown, right? So Sallallahu in the Quran it says that Isa ibn Maryam, he knew what was in the storehouses of the people. Right? Isa. I think it was one of his signs that he can tell people what is in their storehouses. Because Allah, told him, right? But the Prophet ﷺ doesn't know what's in the Sahabi's house because he's not all seeing. So this guy says he tells him again to go to his house and find at least an iron ring. Then he puts in brackets, couldn't he say it at once? Well, he wanted the Sahabi to give her something that was more valuable than just an iron ring. And when he came back and said, I can't find anything, the Prophet said, not even, go back and look for even an iron ring. And then he couldn't even find that, right? So he goes and finds nothing again and says that he only has his pants. And then this guy says underwear. First of all, I believe it was an izar, his bottom, like izar. He doesn't have like a cloth that fits his upper body and his lower body. He just has an izar, meaning he's very poor. So this guy's basically mocking that, you have a poor man, he doesn't have anything to get married with. And then Prophet ﷺ, I think he told him to recite Quran, teach her Quran, and you can get married, right? So what is your problem? I can go on and on about probably, so who's lazy? So because somebody is poor means he's lazy? I don't understand where this guy is going with this hadith. Yeah. He claims to have nothing. Well, obviously he had nothing, or he would have gave his wife whatever, If he had had something, he would have gave it to her because he wants to get married. What is the point? He looks at her carefully. Okay, so a woman came to the Prophet ﷺ, asked to marry him, right? This is in the Quran. Allah gave women permission to ask the Prophet, right? And it's only for him. Other women are not just allowed to go and ask men to get married. But for the Prophet ﷺ, it was a thing that the women were permitted to go to him and ask for marriage to him, And then when he didn't want to marry this woman, so he told another person stop and said he would like to marry her, that he would marry her. So and then this happens, right? It says a man asked the messenger to marry her. Yeah, okay, correct. And then he asked what he can give. So the Prophet ﷺ asked him, and he said he could not give her anything. So I would have to go again to the hadith to see exactly what happened. But anyway, it doesn't say it's underwear. It's just like, okay. Another weird false claim. Like these people just, I don't know where they get their claims from. You're reading the hadiths yourself, you know the actual number, and then you're just twisting it. And he's not making clear like who is saying what. So the Prophet ﷺ told him if she's wearing it, you would have nothing on you. And if you're wearing it, she would have nothing on her. Okay? Meaning it's a cloth, which is like, these cloths that it's like a covering cloth, like it's almost like a sheet or a blanket. So basically it doesn't matter. You could buy one in the market, a cloth, and, it could be either for men or women. Like it's just a regular cloth. It's not like something that is like a dress or something, And it's definitely not like a piece of underwear. Okay. I can go on and on. I'm sure you could. So who's lazy? I read 40 ahadith in Bukhari, book 67. Oh, so he's saying I said he was lazy. Just yesterday, and I can go on reading, and I can debunk all those 40 hadiths, which I read yesterday. You're so funny. And I can debunk first book of Bukhari completely, all 7 hadiths. First book of Bukhari has 7 hadith. I don't understand what you're saying. I can debunk so-called 5 made-up pillars of Islam. Oh, so prayer is made up. I see. Which all of them can be done by hypocrites, so proves nothing of being a Muslim. Well, where did anyone say that doing the pillars of Islam proves that you're not a hypocrite? What a straw man. Like, doesn't say in Islam anywhere that there are not hypocrites. The Quran talks about hypocrites. And some of them can like pray all night and fool you, and you'll think that they're good Muslims, but they're not. So they did not know how to be a Muslim at all. They don't even understand the Quran. They can't even give 4 witnesses for any of their hadiths. Where does it say that you have to have 4 witnesses for a hadith? Quran doesn't say you need 4 witnesses for a hadith, does it? So again, while Allah has challenged for such like them to give 4 witnesses, the Prophet says given 4 witnesses, for example, so do those hadiths Hadithers. Okay, so this guy's anti-hadith, no better than Hafs. Of course not. And their slanders against him aren't justified. And Sahih Bukhari 5087 is a clear slander, calls a woman naked and a man with one pants. Moreover, claims that the Prophet looked at her. What? This guy is insane. Oh my God. Please, I bet you anything he's reading it in English, has no clue what he's talking about. He doesn't know Arabic. So he's saying Sahih Bukhari 5087 is a clear slander. Okay, let's go there. Let's go there, buddy. Okay. Allah. Kidding me. Come on, people. Are you serious? You don't know what you're talking about, okay? Okay. Where is it? So what do I do? What happened? What? I can't even read this. What happened? Close. Okay, forget this. I totally went somewhere else different. Sahih Bukhari 5087. Okay, 5082. We're back. Now I have to go search it up, I guess. Wait a second. Right now. No, this is that one. 8485. Okay, I'll just go down and it's there. Narrated Sahal bin Sa'id as-Sa'idi. A woman came to Allah's apostle and said, "O Allah's apostle, I have come to give you myself in marriage without mahar." Allah's apostle looked at her. Well, because she doesn't give a mahar, whatever. Okay, so she's saying she doesn't want a mahar. He looked at her carefully and fixed a glance on her and read the complete thing. Please open the whole thing. Okay, so many ads here and stuff. What? Where is it? Okay. He looked at her carefully and fixed his glance on her and then lowered his head. So where does it mention that she has no clothes on? When the lady saw that he did not say anything, she sat down. A man from his companions got up and said, "O Allah's apostle, if you are not in need of her, then marry her to me." Prophet ﷺ said, "Have you got anything to offer?" The man said, "No, by Allah." O Allah's apostle. Prophet ﷺ said to him, "Go to your family and see if you have something." The man went and returned saying, "No, by Allah, I have not found anything." Allah's apostle said, "Go again and look for something, even if it is an iron ring." Okay, so what is the problem that the Prophet ﷺ didn't know what are the contents of this person's house, and he told him look for a ring second time, okay, even if it's an iron ring, meaning it's not valuable. Okay, he went again and returned saying, "No, by Allah, O Allah's apostle, I could not find even an iron ring." Later on, iron rings were actually like forbidden, and also apparently gold rings, like you're not supposed to wear any kind of ring on your finger. It should be made from like something else or silver, you know. He went again and returned saying, "No, by Allah, O Allah's apostle, I could not find even an iron ring, but this is my izar, waist sheet." So clearly it says here waist sheet, right? Izar, like I said. He had no rida. He added, so rida is like the shoulder covering, you know, like the shirt or something, like an upper body cloth. Okay, he added, "I give half of it to her." Okay, so he said, "I would give half of it to her." So the point is, if he gives her half of a cloth, he'll have half a cloth and she'll have half. So neither of them would have a whole cloth. So what can he do with it? So that's why the Prophet says, you know, she would be naked or you would be naked. Like, there's no point. If you wear it, she will be naked, and if she wears it, you will be naked. It doesn't mean that Prophet's saying she literally has no other clothes, because obviously she is not walking around naked. Oh Allah, this guy, come on. It just means that if she wears the cloth, you know, then it would not cover her completely, right? So that man sat down for a long while and then got up. So, I mean, you want to go cry that, oh, this means she's naked. Well, it doesn't say anywhere that the Prophet looked at her when she was naked, does it? It doesn't say that he was looking at her and at that moment she was naked. So let's just go back to this comment, right? So he said, okay, I can go on and on probably. So who's lazy? Yeah, you are. You're a big liar, okay? And you just go cherry pick some things that you don't even know what you're saying, trying to prove something with lies. Okay, that's what you are. So if you're not lazy, you're a liar. Okay, I don't really care. You could be both. If I called you lazy, then it's probably for a good reason, telling me to, you know, come to me and do this and that. Whatever, man. So he claims to have nothing. Then he tells him to go home and finds nothing. He tells him again. And he goes to his house and finds at least an iron ring. Couldn't he say it at once? So he goes and finds nothing again and says that he only has his pants, underwear, which is a lie. It was an izar. Asks, can he give it to her for mahar? He declined, saying that he'd become naked if he gave it to her and she'd become naked. So he didn't say he would become naked. You don't become naked when you get married and give your wife a gift. What happens here is that the cloth would not fit either one of them because it would be half a cloth. Okay, that's what it said in the translation that I just read. Okay, so that's it. So he tells him to memorize, teach her a surah. Okay, so just want to find where is that part. Really repeated twice. Okay, he looked at the woman. Whatever. What is the problem? She wanted to marry him. He looks at her. That's how it is in Islam. The guy gets to look at you, and then if he doesn't want to marry her, anyway, that was the Prophet ﷺ. Usually what happens in nikah is you're gonna, you should at least look at each other once before you do your marriage, right? Before you have your wedding and everything, right? Before you actually like get married, do the wedding party. But on contract, you could already do the contract, and then you can look at each other. Okay, you can sit and talk to each other without like getting a good look, and then just, I don't know if it specifies